guys, and thanks for watching. Today I've got a quick review for you of the most beautiful woman in the world. The Obsessions, Passions, and Courage of Elizabeth Taylor, and it's by Ellis Amber. I love to read different biographies, especially about old-timey movie stars and people from that era. Just really fascinates me. So I love to get these whenever I can. And Elizabeth Taylor has always been a really fascinating person to me because she seemed very, very strong and strong-willed and like she just made a lot of things happen in her life. So I wanted to read a little bit about that. So in the early chapters, Elizabeth is a very young child actress. I'm not sure exactly how old she was when she started, but maybe like 8. And she is in the studio system, which was so suffocating back in those days, and she sort of realizes, because she curses out the president of the company, and so she realizes that she must have some power that they want because she didn't get fired the next day. And so after that, she just sort of decides that things are going to be her way and not how anybody else says. I think that that's a very good example to look up to, and also the idea that you're not a failure as long as you keep trying. And so even though she lived to a very old age and she had lots of failures and lots of problems, she never let one of those just set her back and just make her stop trying. She just kept going throughout her whole life, and she did a lot of great things for AIDS research on top of being one of the greatest actresses of our time. And I think that this book is really interesting. Oh, and of course it has the place I always go to first when I get a book like this, the pictures, because I love to look at the old pictures. This is really interesting when compared with this one that I just did a review of, and I'll put the link right here for you guys. I read them fairly close together in time, and I think it is a fascinating story that, and even while they were both alive, people sort of thought of Elizabeth Taylor and Marilyn Monroe as sort of like polar opposites. One was this really beautiful but really deep and intelligent brunette, and then the other was what they thought was a blonde bimbo. And I think it's really interesting if you read about both of them to see how similar their lives really were, and just how a few little different decisions on both of their parts made the differences. And I think that Marilyn was really strong in her own way, but I think that Elizabeth was more in control of her life throughout her whole life, because as I said, when she learned that when she was young, she just sort of decided, okay, I see how this works and I'm going to be in control of this whole thing. And meanwhile, while Elizabeth was making $1 million for Cleopatra, the other film that they were making was Marilyn's in Something's Gotta Give, and she was paid something like, I think it was $100,000 for that movie. And Marilyn hated that because she never could understand why she thought she wasn't respected because she wasn't paid the same amounts as Elizabeth. And one star's life was tragically cut short, as I discuss more in depth about the mystery of that and everything in the Marilyn review. And then Elizabeth's life went on to a very nice old age, and she had a big family like she wanted and accomplished a lot. I think that part of the reason that Elizabeth's life turned out how it did and not how Marilyn's did was her determination. Although Marilyn was very determined, but sometimes she looked to other people to direct her. She took things for granted, but I think Elizabeth just demanded that things would be how she wanted. Even though she was a diva, I definitely wouldn't want to be a waitress for her or anything, but I think it's very interesting, especially if you're trying to tell yourself, well, should I be strong and get what I want, or should I just not be a pain and not be a squeaky wheel? I think it's good to read these two together. So, and also the cover is just beautiful. It's just like cool water and beautiful dusky rose skin, and her beautiful jewels, of course, in her eyes, her famous violet eyes. So it's just nice to have around with you because you can just look at this beautiful picture. So in the comments, I'd love to see if you have a favorite film of Elizabeth Taylor's. I fell in love with her and with the horse when I watched National Velvet when I was a little girl, and I would watch it over and over and over again. So I became a fan of her when she was a teenager, and well, in the movie she was, but and I was a kid. So even though that might not be the very best movie that she was in, that one's just really close to my heart. So let me know which one you loved, and let me know if you've read any other great biographies. Recommend some to me. Thanks so much for watching this, guys. I hope you are having a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye! Hi guys, and thanks for watching. So today I've got a really juicy book review for you. This is Crypt 33, The Saga of Marilyn Monroe, and it is by Adela Gregory and Milo Spiriglio. So Crypt 33 was the, sort of morbid, but it was the crypt that Marilyn's body was kept in at the morgue, and there is a lot of mystery surrounding this, so that is the main focus of this book. I love to read books about Marilyn because to me, and clearly to so many others because she's captivated our culture, it's so fascinating to read about somebody who came up from nothing and she was in foster homes, she was abused, and it seems like through her own